come one, come all, gather round the campfire, kids, and we shall take a look at the scary world of the videos I uploaded in April. So, yeah, I think you all understand how this works by now, so let's just jump straight into it. Doing it like this now, just putting all the videos in one folder because I did a bit of cleaning up. And I put all the videos for, like, all the Luger videos in one folder, and that fucked up the ordering. Usually I just work my way up from the bottom, and the videos would all be in chronological order. They aren't anymore, so I had to pick them out one by one and put them in this folder instead. Whatever, that's not important. So, let's jump straight into the first video we've got, which is Blazeclaw Jude, and it's a long one. It's a loud one too, so I'm gonna lower the volume a bit. What's there to say about Blazeclaw that hasn't already been said? Not a whole lot that I can think of. He's a pain in the ass with his arms, so as you can see here, I choose to stay behind him because I found that tends to cut out the bullshit somewhat. You don't get pushed around to quite the same extent if you stand behind him, so I'm repositioning myself with Rising Sun and Morning Glory there, as you can see, which works well. Getting a bit lucky with snap pivots here, I find, as well. This was a battle of attrition. This is a fight that I think is difficult for entirely the wrong reasons. But enough about that. I'm not entirely sure why I used Mirage Blitz there. It's possible that was a messed up input, that I meant to do something else. Or possibly I just had faith that it would stun him so I could have time to do something else. I'm not entirely sure what went on there. I think I was so tired of this fight at this point that I just kind of went on autopilot for a while. Just kind of did stuff. Or maybe I thought I was in the air when I used Mirage Blitz. You know what? I don't know. It really doesn't help that this guy has a tremendous amount of health. As you can see, I've been wailing on him, but he's not even past halfway, I don't think. I knew I was going to run out of things to say during this fight because there's not really a whole lot to say. I'm playing very reactively all the time. Just constantly trying to do whatever I can without getting pushed around too much. I think I'm about to mess up, actually. I'm taunting a bit. Because I can be a cocky asshole sometimes. Yeah, that didn't quite work. That worked out a bit better. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this fight. Mainly because an assault staff, as you can see there, sometimes gets messed up as well. As I think I very clearly ran straight into him. But for whatever reason, his arms don't count as hitboxes sometimes. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. You know, it's one of those absolutely wonderful inconsistencies that comes with playing Tales. You know, you do the same thing 15 times in a row, you do it a 16th time, and suddenly the result changes drastically. And thankfully, this guy's almost dead, so we can move on to the next video that I'll hopefully have a lot more to say about. Was that even a proper sentence? I only just realized that I might have more to say about. I don't know. Hey, this time it worked. That's what I was going for earlier. I think we're coming up to the end right about... Oh, no, never mind. Shouldn't be long now. I keep saying, but this time it really shouldn't be too long. Never mind. See why I don't like this fight now? He just refuses to die. My damage output's always been really low with Jude. I don't quite know why. It just is. It's possibly because his arts don't have that many uses. I think past 2,000 uses you get a 20% damage boost, which is nice, but I don't have that on all my arts. If any, I think I might have it on Talonstorm, or possibly Demon Fist, I don't know. Well, whatever. We're past that video now, so now we can move on to more interesting things. Volt Jude reworked. I did this one before I even knew I was going to do this whole rebooted Jude run that I'm currently doing. So, as of now, Volt is the most represented boss on my channel. He's been in 5 videos, which is crazy. Using Fell Arms here in the beginning to expediently get rid of his goons. Because I did the whole Aqua Sweet Blunt Fang thing for, wait. Oh right, Blunt Fang thing. I thought I said thing twice in a row. I did the whole Aqua Sweet Blunt Fang thing in the first video, and fuck if I'm gonna do that again, so I just used the Fell Arms. I used a similar method in the rebooted run, where I just go straight up into the air, carry him with me. Ooh, jump cancel, look at that. Bit of a reset there with Raging Blast. That's mainly what I wanted to work into it. I think my original Volt solo had quite a few mistakes in it, and with this one I sought to remove those mistakes, and I think I've done a pretty good job of that. If I remember correctly anyway. It's been a while since I watched this. Using Monument's I the Creator once again as the background song. Because it is one of my favorite songs at the moment, and I used it in the first one, so might as well use it again. And here he used Overlimit before I could use an Assault Step, so that was a bit unfortunate. Not that I would have done anything spectacular. I would have just used another Blunt Fang, which, you know, I'd already used 2 of them in a row there, so that wasn't too terrible. Volt is really heavy, I'm noticing. Cerberus Blast really doesn't send him away that far. And the Blunt Fang finish, of course. Not a whole lot to say about that one. I suppose the interrupted Assault Step Blunt Fang chain is a bit unfortunate, but I mean, it's not like my combo relied on that or anything, it's just extra damage. Now we're moving into a Luger solo. I think this is after I... this isn't quite when I decided to focus on the Luger solo 100%. That would be after the Rideau 2 fight, which we'll get to eventually. Odin is even heavier than Volt, so you can do quite a lot of stuff here without him really being displaced that much. And that can also work against you, since you can very easily use Swallow Flight and fly too high up and not get back down in time, and the power combo will be broken off. That happened a few times, so I think that was the first appearance of the Meteoric Waltz Wall Shot chain that I've been using pretty diligently otherwise. I think that was the first time I used it in one of my solos. Might be wrong though. And the picture perfect finish. I just noticed Falling Snow did like 36,000 damage. That is all kinds of crazy. Oh, this is interesting. There we go. Chronos Leia. Is this another long one? Since Chronos is a bit bulky, I think this version of Chronos also has that last stand skill. That means he, what's the word I'm looking for? He takes less damage the lower his health is. So after he's down to about a quarter, I think, he'll start taking a lot less damage. I think that's how it works. I might be wrong though. I probably am. It's always best to assume the worst, because then anything but that can only be a pleasant surprise. I don't know, I actually got that combo. I mess up a couple of times in this one, since Chronos tends to run into corners a lot, especially when he's spellcasting. And I noticed that I stick to corners quite a lot here as well. I think I went into this one after I'd attempted, and I fail here, I know, yeah, knock him away from me. I was meaning to knock him towards me, but you know that didn't happen. But it's fine. What was I gonna say? All right, I switched over from Rideau 2 to this fight while I was streaming, and so I just found that I had a lot more fun doing this fight than Rideau 2, so I stuck with it for, I think I did this fight for like 2-3 hours straight, easy. Because I had a lot of fun with it. I hadn't played Leia in a really long time, so it felt good to pick her back up. I think I'm using, yeah, that's one of the ones I messed up. I'm using jump cancel there in the air for extra style points. But it sadly didn't work that time because we were both too close to the corner. Or to the edge, rather. Circles don't really have corners, do they? I think this is another one I mess up. Yeah, I only hit the first Eagle Rage projectile. The good thing about this video is I know when it's going to end because it ends at roughly the same time as the song, so I know we're coming up to the end soon. I don't think this one was recorded during a stream, though. I know I started it during one. And then I probably went and did something else. Sorry if I'm being quiet, I'm just trying to think of things to say. This is all pretty self-explanatory to me. I'm basically doing the same 2 free combos over and over again. And now we're getting to the end.
Hey. Hang in there, kid. Yeah.
Forest Rumble, the first Exilia 1 video. Part of a practice session. I noticed the volume in this video is really out of whack. That's interesting. So yes, I've been working on Exilia 1 in the background. I think I've got the first 2 bosses recorded and done. And I'm up to Jiao currently. I haven't played in a really long time because I'm kind of stuck against Jiao since... Well, we'll see later. I don't really like this boss. He's got some pretty lightning fast attacks for a fat geezer, so... that's always interesting. But I noticed that I have to be really careful in Exilia 1 since after Soaring Vortex, sometimes Jude would just do like a front step or a back step randomly, and I have no idea why, so I just hold the guard key. What? This isn't a computer. The guard button on my controller. Is hoping in vain he wouldn't do it that time, and it works most of the time. Sometimes he still flies away, which is very unfortunate because I need him to not do that. Yeah, as you can see there, sometimes when I do snap pivot and he just replies with Gilded Fist and I die, which is very, very sad. That's sort of where I rage quit that recording session. Okay, so Rideau Luger 2 is strictly... what? Rideau 2 Luger is strictly before the reworked Rideau fight, so let's just go with this one first. The quality on this one is a bit crap because this is snagged from a live stream session I did. I think both of the successful attempts I had at this fight were done during a live stream. And I couldn't be arsed to go back and do it again, so I just snagged this one, which is why the quality suffers a bit, which is unfortunate. And obviously this is not a no damage fight, because fuck Rideau, just in general. Using the Alliance arms there to take care of the goons expediently. Which is a bit of an extreme measure now in hindsight, but, you know. At this point I tried so much, I was just tired of it all. I don't think the combos in this one are that great either, because whenever I actually kill all the goons and it'd just be me and Rideau, I'd get really nervous. Because I really desperately did not want to do all of this again. So yeah, as you can see, it's all pretty basic stuff. I've definitely got this one in my little book of videos to redo. But not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. This upcoming part is pretty cool though, but it's 100% accidental. And I'm dodging around his attacks. That front step there was not intentional, that just kind of happened. Striking bayonet there, most likely saving my life. Thanks to that, I can initiate a power combo with the guns from a safe distance. And I also managed to get power combo up to even begin with. Messed up there. I was going to switch to the swords and use Falling Snow, but I switched in the wrong direction and got the hammer instead. But luckily, nothing terrible happened. Because I've got Falling Snow and Crushing Blow mapped to the same key. It's just neutral circle. Like I said, key again. The same button. The same input. There we go. Well, it's a bullshit fight. That's what it is. Let's move on to Rideau Luger. Well, this one's really loud for some reason. I sort of did this one as revenge against Rideau. After having done the Rideau 2 fight. I wanted revenge. I wanted to fuck him up, as they say. Which is what I'm doing here. Not really a whole lot to say about this one, I don't think. Except for this upcoming part here where I use the guns. I wasn't expecting the power combo to actually start there because Rideau techs in like 9 cases out of 10, so I just didn't even think that would work. But it did, so I kind of looked like an idiot there. I don't know if that was intentional. I think I just wanted to try. Hey, I wonder if I can do like a jump cancel aerial meteoric waltz thing here. I'm gonna try. And it worked, so that was cool. I don't remember if that was planned or not. I don't think it was. No, I don't think I planned the first part of the video. Well, whatever. Noctigal Luger, another kind of tricky boss. Massacre Arc is an instant kill, but since this is no damage anyway, it doesn't really matter. That part right there with the front stepping and all that, that's also unintentional. I think my controller is very slowly dying, and it's doing random front steps when I don't want it to. So that was not me trying to be stylish, that was 100% accident. Using the guns and a capacitor there that I hadn't quite tried before, I think it worked out kind of well. Getting very lucky with the bonus ACs here. Noctigal is he's a pretty fun boss. He's got some attacks that are pretty tricky to dodge, but nevertheless, I just noticed the leeway Massacre Arc gives you for a backstep dodge is crazy. That combo took me so long to nail, that beginning chain there. Holy crap. So many attempts squandered because of it. I think at this point I had 100% committed to only doing the Luger run. And another pretty cool finish. And Rowan's wearing his outfit that he used to wear when he was a kid. When he was hip, and actually had a real hip that wasn't made of plastic. Victor Luger, alright. Counting all the meta jokes in this fight is quite the task. To begin with, I'm wearing Victor's outfit on Luger there. Also using a song called I'll Face Myself from Persona 4. And then my name is Victor, although I spell it much more intelligently. This idiot can't even spell his own name correctly. I'm joking, of course. I like this take for a few reasons. I think the combos in it are good, of course. I also think I do quite a good job of flash guarding his attacks, so I can get some HP recovery. The one thing I don't like about it is a part that comes up later. I get pretty unlucky with the Dizzy status ailment. And here I am working in that aerial double blast setup that I'm so fond of. But yeah, I get very unlucky with the Dizzy ailment later on, which you will see. Ended the combo kind of early there, I think. I could have gotten some more DPS in. DPS? Wow, that's a very unnecessary term. Damage will do. I think that's this part. Yeah, I get Dizzy there. No, it's not Dizzy, it's Nauseous, I'm sorry. I get unlucky with the Nausea ailment. And then it goes away, and then he just keeps spamming Blaze Bloom, and suddenly I get nauseous again. Right here, I think. Okay, never mind. Here, there we go. So I have to wait that one out as well, but luckily Blaze Bloom is pretty easy to flash guard with that finishing kick, so I can generally keep my health at a safe value. And then it just comes to me waiting for a moment when I can strike. So I don't want to go in too soon and get killed, because at this point I really did not want to attempt this boss any more than absolutely necessary. And I also didn't want him to tech, so I was kind of anxious about going in for that reason. And then the Chromatus finish, because it felt fitting against Vector. I normally don't like it, and for whatever reason it's super sped up. I don't know why. It just does that sometimes. And a bit of a video artifacting going on there. And all the level ups. Hey look, I've got full health, it's a no damage fight. Now we go into the Chimeriad, which is another fight that I did not want to do no damage. Because look at this! Now you don't have one boss and then just normal enemies. Now you've got 4 boss type enemies, which is a lot of fun. Ooh, I cannot begin to describe how much joy I feel whenever this fight comes up. I'm like just now remembering that since I said I'd do the optional bosses for Jude, I'm gonna have to do this fight as well. I didn't really take that into account when I said that, but you know, now I've committed to it, I guess I have to. But that's quite a ways away, so I'll deal with that when we get to it. I've got double damage, so it shouldn't be that bad. But let's talk about this run, not the Jude run. So yeah, as I tend to do now whenever there are multiple enemies in a boss fight, I finish off one of them with Form Destroyer. And I chose to go with Zhao because that guy is annoying. I think I go for Pressa next. Because for whatever reason, I got the impression that she can heal and resurrect people, although I know she can't. That was just my mindset. Interesting how Pressa and Wingull got the water elements on him, but Agria got the earth elements. It looked like they got hit an equal amount of times as well. I don't really know what that was about. Yeah, I'm using the cameo weapons here as well, the Vesperia feathers, to make things a bit easier. I think in these scenarios, it's absolutely accepted to make things a bit easier for yourself, because holy crap. Maybe not easier. Well, it is easier because it takes less time, I guess, and they die quicker, but I'm not really taking that much damage here anyway because I've got last stand and stuff on. I just noticed she teched there, which was unfortunate. I really do not like the Chimeriad fight. I don't think I had the Risk Ring on here either because I didn't want to take too much damage from, you know, you take double damage if you got that thing on, so I removed it. And now I have to go away and taunt for a bit. I don't think I ever equipped the Risk Ring in this fight. But luckily, Wingull's attacks give me a lot of TP back, so that's good. And he dodges. And you have to do power charge again, and this is fun. In hindsight, I think I could have just used like Freezing Eruption or something since he is weak to Earth. I guess I just wanted to be safe. There are a lot of dead people on this battlefield, I just noticed. And he mumbles something in some foreign language. Otulp! How did you get it? It's Pluto backwards. Anyway, this fight is a bit tricky because of that attack right there. Gets thrown out incredibly quickly. So it's a bit tricky to dodge. But I do manage to get it right eventually. For trial and error, I counted. What I did was, I knew based on Luger's position on the battlefield, he would take a certain amount of steps forward before he'd throw that attack out. So all I had to do was count his steps. And then dodge. And then most of the time I'd get it right. It's not very precise since it's an amount of steps and then a bit more or slightly less than that. And I think this time I just sidestep it, yeah. Kind of ruined that by guarding there. I should have just stayed there, not done anything. That would have looked pretty cool. Jump cancel Lunar Reflection is one of my favorite things to do with Luger because I think it sets up Meteoric Waltz and stuff nicely. Or, well, if the enemy is really heavy, like Otulp here. Against normal enemies, it's just cool. Agri Elven Luger, and this, believe it or not, is a multi-enemy boss fight where I don't take any damage, and I'm gonna increase the volume slightly. So what I'm doing here is I'm just carrying Alvin into the air. Because Agria can't do anything to you while you're up there. Alvin can. He can use Squall Shot, and that will hit you if you're carrying Agria. Another important thing to do in this fight is to confuse one of them. That way they can't link and end the combo, which is very beneficial. Form Destroyer really messes up video sometimes, I'm noticing. I think that's probably my video codec though. It's just it always looks fine on the raw footage. And then Agria denies the Freezing Eruption, and she recovers out of it. And there she gets petrified and I can jump in. And here comes the premiere of a setup that I practiced on stream, so some people had already seen it. But that was the first time I ever used it in a solo, which was pretty cool. I think the background music in this one is called The Future That Awaited Me, which I think kind of fits Alvin in a way, even though we're strictly in his past right now, so I guess it's not a perfect fit. But I guess it's also kind of the future that awaits that Alvin. You know, the fractured one. I don't even know. We're almost done with Exilia 2 videos. We've got a Luger combo, and then we've got Chronos 2. Then we're moving into Systeria and also Metroid Fusions. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these two Exilia 2 videos, and then we'll move into the other ones. So this is the first combo video where I used Quick Drop, which has sort of become a staple of my channel. And it is what I'd like to consider one of what are the words I'm looking for? One of the things that really, I don't want to say it sets my Luger gameplay apart from others, because I don't think it does that. I think it gives it a little special something that you wouldn't normally see. That's why I really like using it. And while it's kind of shoehorned into that one, I do use it in a lot more interesting way in my latest combo video, which we will not get to in quite some time. But anyway, Chronos 2 is a pain to record because if you fail this fight, you don't get to retry. You have to load a save file and then go through all the cutscenes and skip them, and because this is Exilia 2 and they decided that having a silent protagonist would be a good fucking idea, it means you have to do all the choices, which means cutscenes take a lot longer than they need to. Pause for breath. And then you have to fight Chronos 1, and for whatever reason, during that first little fight, you can retry. You get to retry that. And you don't even do that fight to completion. I don't think. It cuts off after a while. I don't remember why I used the Mystic Art there. I could have stayed and done Power Charge. I think I just wanted some extra damage on him, probably. I'm not entirely sure about this, but I think if you use a Mystic Art in Chromatus mode and the enemy... or if the enemy overlimits in Chromatus mode and you use a Mystic Art, their overlimit gets cancelled. I'm not sure about that. It seems to happen sometimes, but I don't know if it's one of those things that always happens. That quick drop there, I tried to shoehorn that in. Could very easily have gone wrong. Because he didn't stun, I don't think. Or maybe he did get stunned by Crimson Fury. It's here somewhere, I think. Okay, he did get stunned. Because he got stunned, that worked. If he hadn't gotten stunned, that would have failed miserably. And that would have been a failed take right there.
We would have been done without you, Luger.
Oh, and it's doing this again. No. Almost ended up dragging that somewhere unpleasant. Sorry, practice! The first Hysteria video I put up. I got to this boss while just playing the game normally, and I thought, hey, this would be a good opportunity to try recording some Hysteria, since this is a one-on-one fight. Means it's going to be pretty good practice for eventual solos. In case I ever do them, of course. I'm still not sure about that, since Hysteria feels really weird to me. I kind of don't like the game, but I want to like it. I really do. I think most of my issues with it come from me not understanding a whole lot. As you can see here, I don't have any Exceed, I think it's called, which is when you can do more than 4 actions. Because basically you can do 4 actions normally, and those actions can be either normal attacks, arts, or steps. And with Exceed skills, you can increase that number to like 5, 6, 7. You can do 5. You can do more actions in a row without having to do Chain Blasts, which is really good, because then you save blasts on your blast gauge, so you can do Mystic Arts. I don't have a whole lot of that, since I didn't quite understand how you got those skills until very recently. Not very recently, it was like 2 months ago, or 1 month ago. 2 months ago would have been false, because I don't think I had Hysteria 2 months ago. But yeah, I'm basically using the same combo over and over there, because I also don't have that many arts for Sori at that point. And now we're moving into Metroid Fusion, a project that's been ground to a halt very, very extravagantly by one boss being pretty much impossible. This first boss is very easy. Just jump over his flames and jump up, grab the ledge there, and then you want to jump off before he slams into the wall, because if he slams into the wall while you're hanging there, you're going to drop down into the flames and you're going to take damage. And while this run isn't no damage, I figured that some bosses can be done no damage. I mean, all of them can, strictly speaking, but it's incredibly difficult. So I figured I might as well, since Arachnus is so easy. And I think these first couple of bosses are all no damage. And then he goes into his Core X form. He takes 3 missiles before he dies. Getting very lucky there. But yes, Arachnus isn't that difficult. It's really just an interruption. What? I combined interruption and interruption. That was... Come on, I haven't drunk anything in like many, many hours. And I'm not hungover, so I don't understand what's going on. I combined interruption and introduction. There we go. Quite an epic brain fart there. And if you're wondering why this one is called number 3 and number 2 isn't here, it's because between those two bosses there is a Core X that gives you a beam. And later on in the game you face another Core X that also gives you a beam. So I just stuck the two of those together, so that boss will be coming later. Let's move on into Sasabi. Or Sasabi, I guess. If it's pronounced like wasabi, I don't fucking know. Giant Eye Dick Monster. Let's call him that. So Penis Pete over here jumps around a whole lot. And when he does, that little thing there, you just run underneath him, fire off a shard shot straight up into his eye. Really not a difficult boss either. Just be careful that you're not stuck underneath him. A beginner mistake, and one that I used to do a lot when I first played this game, was to just keep standing underneath him, firing missiles straight up. That's not a good strategy, because then then you're going to get hit. And especially since this is a 1% boss run, getting hit is generally very bad. And if anyone's unclear on what the 1% means, it means that the percentage refers to your item gathering percentage that you get at the end of the game. And that counts like extra missile packs, extra energy tanks. So I'm doing this game, or this run, without grabbing any extra health and extra missiles, but it's called 1% because there is one missile pack that is unavoidable. You have to get it, because it's placed in such a way that you actually can't jump over it, unless you do some very, very tricky shine sparking, I think it's called. And it's incredibly frame specific, incredibly tedious, and I'm not going to do it. But then again, 5 extra missiles don't actually change that much. An extra energy tank would change a whole lot, but you know, sadly, I kind of wish when an energy tank had been the unavoidable item. That would have been very, very handy. And this boss looks like it's going to be very tricky, but in reality, if you grab the ledge and stay close to that little vent there, you can dodge all of his attacks except for that attack where he goes really close to the ceiling. And you can tell when he's going to do that when he does the very quick zigzag movements between panels. Then he just jump down. And I get lucky and tag him with the shard shot there. I had a feeling his lightning speed thing would end roughly around there, so I took the chance and fired off a shot, and I hit him, so that was pretty cool. Now I'm taking some risks by staying down here. I still can't read his patterns. I think they're somewhat random. The only thing I can read is when he's going to do that floor sweeping attack. I mean, generally, Ceres isn't that hard. What's hard is this Core X form, especially if you're trying to go for no damage against this boss, which I did. I didn't have to do that since this run isn't no damage, but you know, I felt that Ceres himself, I've gotten down to a degree where I can do him no damage like 9 out of 10 times. And the Core X is always what gives me problems. This time I got it right. And I think I kind of stopped in disbelief for a while there. Well, that's a later video where I stop in disbelief that I actually did the entire fight no damage, but we'll get to that. That's a video that hasn't been uploaded yet. I've got a few Metroid Fusion videos stashed away. I don't know when I'm going to upload them. I noticed the volume on these are really low. Not quite used to this boss yet. He bumps into the wall, he stands there, and I feel like it's pretty specific when you can actually hit him with missiles. Because as soon as that thing starts popping up, he's going to be immune to missiles from above. So it took some patience getting that down. And the funny thing is, I was cross-referencing a guide while I was playing this. And you know, after I'd done a boss, I'd check the guide and see what that guy suggested. And he suggested that whenever he drops his fire bombs, you start climbing around, so you're always ahead of the fire. But in reality, you can just hang above the fire and you'll never get hit, ever, ever. Just stay directly above the firebomb and that's never going to hit you. And I thought it was kind of funny how he made that a lot more difficult than it needed to be. But anyway, that was a very uninteresting side thing. And it looks like we are done with this month's videos. Going forward, it's going to be mainly Luger stuff. I think there might be... I think the next video is probably Momentum, that combo video I did. So there are multiple characters in that one, so that's good, I suppose. I think I uploaded that on May 1st. So we'll get to that whenever I do the May recap, which will most likely be in the middle of June sometime, but you know, it's March, no, it's May 31st, so you know, I'm kind of cutting this a bit close. It's still technically May though, so that's good. But yes, that's gonna do it for this time. I'm sorry if I sound kind of incoherent. I had guests over last night. I drank a bit too much. I'm not proud to admit, but that's how it is. But hopefully I sound coherent enough that this was still a somewhat enjoyable watch. And I will see you all around for either the next recap video, but hopefully I'm going to do some other videos before then. So I will see you all then. Bye-bye.